I always say the fastest way to confuse a man is to say, I want you to just listen.
Welcome to the Gen X Survival Guide. I'm Angie DeGeronimo, Silicon Valley performance coach and serial overthinker. I am.
I'm Brian Asha, I'm a recording artist and a coach, and today we're unpacking what she said.
And what he said.
It's all about why women want to vent, and men, we just want to fix things.
And this is why this episode is called Shut Up and Listen. We are going to get started, and you are going to... All right, so we're going to talk about a concept that I think every single woman can relate to, which is sorry. Oftentimes we want to be our own hero, and it takes a minute for us to put those thoughts into words and process as we have so many things going on. We are dealing with relationships, we are dealing with our household, we are dealing with our children. Many of us work full-time, some part-time. I have to cook dinner on top of it all. But with all that said and done, when we sit down and we're ready to talk about something, which is not often for most, but when it does happen, we just need an ear.
This is an area of conflict quite a lot in couples between men and women, is that, women do feel that they like to talk things out. And many men, you can hardly get a word out of them. Right. They actually don't particularly like talking about how they are feeling. They are famous for the one-word answers. And, that's perplexing for the women in their lives because, of course, women like to talk about stuff. And they're used to talking about stuff with their girlfriends. And so when they come home, and they're talking to their sexy other, they're like, why is this guy tuning out, Or the other thing that guys do, of course, is we try and fix things.
Let's say we are in the middle of, it might go on for 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So some of it is, I understand that can be long-winded for some men, I would say. So as we're trying to get that information out, I would say the best that what we're looking for as women is just that person that's there to listen versus trying to solve the problem.
Right. Well, we're all living through it on a daily basis. So what we want to do is to get to some practical solutions for how we can navigate this. Mm-hmm. And the truth is that there's a middle ground. That's mm-hmm. what we have to find as men and women, right? Because women like to talk about stuff, and guys, we like to fix things. So today you're gonna hear some techniques and strategies you can use to find that middle ground and be more successful at being happy. That's what it's all about.
Right, communication.
Yeah.
So we hear over and over again that good communication is going to keep a couple together. Yeah. Good communication, but what does that actually mean? And for me, we talked about, listening is the understanding that now is what Brian has shared with me earlier, is that men are built for this. Right?
Well, one of the things I like to say is that, if you buy a dog and you bring a dog home, you can't criticize the dog for wagging its tail, because that's what dogs do, right? Men, we like to fix things. We're solution focused. And it's actually how we show our love. It's a way we can show that we're here for you, we're here to support you, we want to fix this problem that you're having. But what men don't understand is that urge to fix things is actually getting in the way of your partner actually finding her own power, finding her own solution, and sorting things out in your mind. Because we all know, if you can sometimes just talk it out, it starts to make a bit more sense, doesn't it? To yourself. You have to talk it through.
Exactly. And so when we're interrupted, let's say, or when the solution is offered, I would say that we actually feel less heard, because you're not allowing the space and time for us to get to the bottom of what that issue might be. Like I said, our minds are busy. So when we're actually sitting down to be heard, so I have a close significant other and he wants to help. So often he will interject before my thought is actually out. Have you bumped into that yourself? Do you try to help?
So this close significant other you have, would that be your husband of 30 years?
That would be, yes. And so lately he's saying, well, I want to interrupt. That's what conversation is all about, because I don't want to forget what I want to say in that moment. So a little bit of it is understanding the other person and getting comfortable with a new way of communicating.
Yeah, and I suppose we both have stuff to learn in that regard. We both have to learn, new habits around communicating.
Right.
But one of the things I think that men don't realize when they do jump to solutions is that if you immediately start jumping to a solution, that is a clear signal to the woman you're talking to that you're not listening.
It feels like that. You might be.
Because you're too busy thinking, what's the quickest way I can terminate this conversation? Well, how about if I give her a solution? Well, that's a clear signal that you're not listening, right?
Yeah.
And in fact, in that moment, you're making it about yourself. You're making it about you and not about her. So those are two no-nos right there. And now you understand why you're back on the couch, right?
Right, and I think to say, maybe we give you an idea of a couple of questions that you could ask. It's nice in communication to say, would you like me to listen, or do you want me to help you come up with strategy for the problem?
Yeah.
I mean, just heading off a conversation before she gets chatting, maybe? Because I would appreciate that.
Okay, well, I can totally buy that, but I must say it does feel a little unnatural for the man to say, for the next 5 minutes, would you like me to just listen, or should I offer some solutions? I mean, that does seem a little weird.
Okay, well, we're doing something different. We have to do something different if we want something different.
That's true.
So is he going to wait for me to talk? Okay, so we reverse it. I'm talking.
Yeah.
And then he would say, okay, do you want solutions, or where would we put that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the fastest way to confuse a man is to say, I want you to just listen. He's like, what? A smart thing for a guy to do would be just accept the fact that the woman needs to unpack how she's feeling, right? Mm-hmm. And God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. So you should be doing twice as much listening as you do talking. So shut up and listen.
Yeah.
And the way to do it is to simply show you're listening. It's actually called active listening, and we talk about it in one of our mini courses, Angie,
yes.
in the Raise Your Vibe and Attract Your People mini course. We talk about this thing of active listening, and what that's about is just actively listening, looking at the person in the eye, and saying, "I hear what you're saying. Wow, that sucks," or "That sounds like it must have hurt your feelings," or "How did that make you feel?" Encouraging them to talk, and what else happened. All of these little signals to the person you're talking to shows them that you really are listening and you care what they have to say.
Right, there's validation. There's validation. A woman needs to feel validated. I think anyone talking needs to feel, 1, that they're being heard, 2, that they're valid and having their feelings, and 3, yes, if there's something that I'm looking for, I'm going to ask for it.
Exactly.
Most women are going to ask for it. What should I do, Brian?
Yeah, no,
I'm going to ask for it.
So that's right, and they will ask for it once they're finished talking it through, right?
Yes.
What do you think, honey? What do you think I should do? And that is your cue as a man to, now that you ask.
Right.
And here's another thing, right? Just because she's asking for, what do you think? She's not saying, give me the answer to my problem, right? Because if she wanted the answer to the problem, she'd say, give me the answer to my problem. But what she's saying is, what do you think? So that is an opportunity for you now to say, hey, you want to brainstorm some ideas about this? She's not looking to be pushed around. She's looking for a co-pilot. Yes. How can we navigate this situation together, right?
Yes.
That's what she's looking for. And it's an opportunity for the guy to say, hey, I hear your pain, I feel your pain, let's figure this out together,
Mm-hmm. So, and there have been times, truly, like Brian said, I've been married a long time, where I've said, I'm not sure how I'm feeling, and he knows me so well, because we've been married for so long, that I have said to him, do you think that's how I'm trying to get what he knows of me to help me navigate something at times. So that's an example of people that have been together a very long time. But because honestly, sometimes we are talking to help ourselves figure something out. And I think that if men know that, I think it'd be easier to listen.
Absolutely. So it's really about guiding, and this is something we're doing together.
Connection.
Yeah,
right.
It's something we're working on together, and we're going to come up to a solution together.
Right. Right.
And we've given a lot of instruction for guys on this show, but it also falls to the woman to be clear about what she needs in the moment. At risk of getting a slap, Angie, why don't you share with our viewers the 4-minute technique that you've developed?
Okay, well, you were laughing at me about this. So I, at times, will go into a conversation knowing that he's a busy person too. Right. So I will say, I'm going to talk for, I think the longest I've ever said, I looked at the clock and I was like, it's going to be 7 minutes. I'm going to talk for 7 minutes, so he doesn't think I'm going to be there for an hour or, this is going to be, and it actually, he has told me that it's like, all right, I'm just going to sit here for 7 minutes and listen to her talk. It was actually helpful.
Right.
So that was a strategy that's worked for us. So he knows that I'm going to be going on and on about something. And usually at the end of that 7 minutes, there's something that I've either asked him or I figured out. I don't think it really takes that long if we're not interrupted. I really don't think it takes that long.
Yeah, if you just are actually shutting up and listening, things can get done. But I guess that guys start to get panicky because they think, oh no, is this going to be an all-nighter?
Really?
Well, I think so. Because remember that men as a general rule, and we're generalizing here, we're not really big talkers. We're not really into expressing all of the different angles of our feelings, right? We don't even do it with our guy friends. We especially don't do it with our guy friends,
Okay.
Now that is not good. I'm not saying that men don't do it and that's great. I'm saying men don't do it as a general rule. Maybe it's because of how we're socialized. Maybe it's because of our biology. And actually men have bad or poorer health outcomes because they don't know how to talk about their feelings, right? But that is another show. That's not what we're talking about right now.
Yes. Okay, so you're actually looking at it going, oh God, is this going to be an all-nighter? And it's a little stressful. So that's why. So I'm glad I have the 4 minute or the 7 minute.
Well, I think
I just created that because I was like, I could see when he goes. I could see, and I so if I know that, if you know this about your partner, this is why we have girlfriends, right? If we know this, and then he's going to try to solve the problem, and he can't, it's just not in him to listen that long. And I could see both of those things. I just go in and say, it's going to be 7 minutes. What do you think? All done. Wrap it in a bow, and I'm out. Thank you. That helped.
I think you make an excellent point, Angie, is that, I think that do you remember I talked about if you're going to get a dog, don't be surprised when it wags its tail.
Right, I'm just accepting this, yes.
Yeah, I think that this idea is, there's a reason that you have girlfriends.
Yes.
And one of the reasons you have girlfriends is because you guys like to talk about stuff at length.
For a long time.
Exactly.
Yes.
And maybe expecting your guy to do that is maybe a little unfair, but that doesn't mean to say that you should not be talking about how you feel with your guy. Of course you should. And he's your significant other. If you've got a serious problem, you probably want his perspective. Right. But I think we just need to be sensitive to each other's communication styles.
Communication styles. And we have a lot in common too. So I have gone into Dave time with a list. I have done that too, where, okay, now we're going out and to sit down together, and the kids are, not there, and I have his undivided attention, and I don't want to waste the time, right? I don't want to. So I have been known, he knows, and he's like, is this going to be a honey-do, or are we just talking? So, and I'm like, no, it's just talking, it's just my talking points, because I don't want to forget, and we're there, and I want to honor our time together. Yeah. So I have also gone in, very structured. It just depends on how much time we're spending together and what I want to accomplish in it. We've been in business together too. Right. So there's a little bit of, is this personal or is this business? Do you want, that's communication to me.
Yeah, no, it's great.
We're outlining what we want to get out of this.
I think it's great. Basically what you're saying is that you're actually respecting your different communication styles. You're also, you want to make the most out of the time that you have.
Yeah.
And I think that if you got a bunch of stuff to cover off, make a list.
Right.
And say, we're going to sit down and talk about this stuff for the next few minutes. Are you available? Well, yes, I am. Have a seat.
Yes.
The first thing I want to talk about is this.
Because you want them to be focused. You want them to hear you, right? Yeah. So it's like play to each other's strengths versus you're not listening. Are you listening? He'll get irritated when I do that, right? Because I think he's somewhere else. I'm like, are you listening? So to consistently communicate before, during, and after. They say communication, but that's such a blanket term. I feel like we have to look at what does that actually mean.
All right, Angie. So what advice would you give me?
All right. I would say, please, when I start talking, listen. When you hear a pause, when I stop or pause, validate. So this is what I hear you saying, or how does that make you feel? It would feel like I had a co-pilot, as you mentioned earlier. I want to feel like I'm being guided and supported versus explained and solutioned. That's not a word, but you know what I mean. So what would you tell me to do? What advice would you give me?
Well, I think that to acknowledge the fact that guys are solution focused, and it's how we show love. We want to show that we're being supportive, which is why we offer solutions. So don't take it the wrong way. I think also for women, they maybe should understand that men are not always comfortable talking about their feelings or getting into the nitty-gritty of stuff.
Right.
So be patient. And also ask for what you want. Tell your fella, listen, I just need to talk this through. I'd love it if you could listen. And then maybe when I'm done, we can brainstorm some ideas together about how to fix it. So be very clear about what you need from us guys. And together, we'll work it out.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Very good.
Well, thanks for tuning in to us today. My name is Brian Asha.
And I'm Angie DeGeronimo.
And you can find us at houseoflittlewonders.com.
Or Little Wonders with Angie on socials.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing you next time.